I found how the world had been misled by prostitute writers to ascribe the greatest exploits in war to cowards, the wisest counsel to fools, sincerity to flatterers, Roman virtue to betrayers of their country, piety to atheists, chastity to sodomites, truth to informers. How many innocent and excellent persons had been condemned to death or banishment by the practicing of great ministers upon the corruption of judges and the malice of factions? How many villains had been exalted to the highest places of trust, power, dignity, and profit? How great a share in the motions and events of courts, councils, and senates might be challenged by bawds, whores, pimps, parasites, and buffoons? How low an opinion I had of human wisdom and integrity, when I was truly informed of the springs and motives of great enterprises and revolutions in the world, and of the contemptible accidents to which they owed their success. Here I discovered the roguery and ignorance of those who pretend to write anecdotes or secret history, who send so many kings to their graves with a cup of poison, will repeat the discourse between a prince and chief minister where no witness was by, unlock the thoughts and cabinets of ambassadors and secretaries of state, and have the perpetual misfortune to be mistaken. Here I discovered the true causes of many great events that have surprised the world. How a whore can govern the backstairs a council, and the council a senate. A general confessed in my presence that he got a victory purely by the force of cowardice and ill conduct, and an admiral that, for want of proper intelligence, he beat the enemy to whom he intended to betray the fleet. 3 kings protested to me that in their whole reigns they never did once prefer any person of merit, unless by mistake or treachery of some minister in whom they confided. Neither would they do it if they were to live again. And they showed with great strength of reason that the royal throne could not be supported without corruption, because that positive, confident, restive temper which virtue infused into man was a perpetual clog to public business. I had the curiosity to inquire in a particular manner by what method great numbers had procured to themselves high titles of honor and prodigious estates, and I confined my enquiry to a very modern period. However, without grating upon present times, because I would be sure to give no offense even to foreigners, for I hope the reader need not be told that I do not in the least intend my own country in what I say upon this occasion, a great number of persons concerned were called up, and upon a very slight examination discovered such a scene of infamy that I cannot reflect upon it without some seriousness. Perjury, oppression, subordination, fraud, panderism, and the like infirmities were amongst the most excusable arts they had to mention, and for these I gave, as it was reasonable, due allowance. But when some confessed they owed their greatness and wealth to sodomy or incest, others to the prostituting of their own wives and daughters, others to the betraying their country or their prince, some to poisoning, more to the perverting of justice in order to destroy the innocent, I hope I may be pardoned if these discoveries inclined me little to abate of that profound veneration which I am naturally apt to pay to persons of high rank, who ought to be treated with the utmost respect due to their sublime dignity by us, their inferiors. I had often read of some great services done to princes and states, and desired to see the persons by whom those services were performed. On inquiry, I was told that their names were to be found on no record, except a few of them whom history hath represented as the vilest rogues and traitors. As to the rest, I had never once heard of them. They all appeared with dejected looks, and in the meanest habit, most of them telling me they died in poverty and disgrace, and the rest on a scaffold or a gibbet. Among the rest, there was one person whose case appeared a little singular. He had a youth about 18 years old standing by his side. He told me he had for many years been commander of a ship, and in the sea fight of Actium had the good fortune to break through the enemy's great line of battle, sink 3 of their capital ships, and take a 4th, which was the sole cause of Antony's flight and of the victory that ensued. That the youth standing by him, his only son, was killed in the action. He added that upon the confidence of some merit, the war being at an end, he went to Rome and solicited at the court of Augustus to be preferred to a greater ship, whose commander had been killed. But without any regard to his pretensions, it was given to a boy who had never seen the sea, the son of a Libertina, who waited on one of the emperor's mistresses. Returning back to his own vessel, he was charged with neglect of duty, and the ship given to a favorite page of Publicola, the vice-admiral. Whereupon he retired to a poor farm at a great distance from Rome, and there ended his life. I was so curious to know the truth of this story that I desired Agrippa might be called, who was admiral in that fight. He appeared and confirmed the whole account, but with much more advantage to the captain, whose modesty had extenuated or concealed a great part of his merit. I was surprised to find corruption grown so high and so quick in that empire by the force of luxury so lately introduced, which made me less wonder at many parallel cases in other countries where vices of all kinds have reigned so much longer, and where the whole praise as well as pillage hath been engrossed by the chief commander, who perhaps had the least title to either.
The river is wide, I cannot see, nor do I have light wings to fly. Build me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I.
Welcome back to Old Hollywood Briar. To my surprise last night, I went down to the car and found a box sitting out at my front door. Lo and behold, the beautiful Baren Latakia rolls. Latakia roll cake is made of whole Virginia leaves, dark-fired Kentucky, and a fair amount of smoky Latakia. And as we all know, McBaren could be a little light on that Latakia hand. As I popped the top of my Gerstner tool chest and perused the selection of pipes, which we should preview this well-anticipated blend, I struggled to find the right shape, the right size for what I was going to be sampling here. Because, you know, if you ever want to get good tasting notes, go over and check out my good friend Eric the Blue Collar Pipe Smoker. Because if you dog a blend, he'll dog on you if you didn't put it in several different briar and, you know, try the difference and see if any of the different pieces of wood smoked sweeter than the other. And so I'm saying all that because the selection of the bowl here is important. And this little snifter bulldog, it's really not the right pipe for a mixed blend like this, where you want to sense the subtleties of the Latakia. Because now, as you can see, this is, you know, mostly Virginia. And, you know, there's that dark leaf. There's a lot of dark fired in there, too. So that's, you know, that really dark stuff's going to be the dark fired. The Latakia, you know, I mean, comparing it side by side, I imagine it's a little less than the dark fired, because dark fired is usually so dark.
That can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I.
Questa
At first breath, the remnant of, or like dark, strong Kentucky is there. That perfume stems up into the senses and just releases that adoration that most of us have for that magnificent blend. It looks like a Reese's peanut butter cup. In the first bowl, I just kind of struggled to really single out the Latakia. I mean, you could tell it was there. There was an earthy woodenness. I wouldn't really say a creaminess because, again, this is not a lat bomb. And I've only had this overnight, but I did do some drying time on it because it's a roll cake. It's going to come very moist. These were meant for sailors to travel the ocean and keep their tobacco from turning into powder. So, I gave it some dry time, but I still noticed that that Virginia and Kentucky taste was just very strong. So one of the things that I resorted to, somebody recommended to me yesterday that I, really attempt that fold and stuff method again. So I grabbed a few of these coins, packed them up, fold and stuff style. And I really have to recommend that way of trying the blend because it just keeps the Latakia together more. Because I feel like when you're rolling it out to break it up, it's, the Virginia is a full leaf broad cut shag cut. And the Latakia, since it's smoked, is probably a little bit more brittle. And what that can do is cause all that nice, rich, creamy Latakia to fall down into the base of your palm so that it doesn't get loaded into your pipe when you're loading. So the fold and stuff method, remember, the walls of the pipe to act as a constrainer pressure instead of like the bottom, kind of like if you're using the ball and stuff method. And that, I took about 3 or 4 of these coins and folded them in half, used a larger bowl, and really got to taste the concentration of the Latakia a lot better. And it did give a little bit more roundness to the blend. So, in conclusion, would I buy this again? And the answer is most definitely yes. And I only got 1 tin because, you never know with these things. And there's still some available today as of recording. So I need pipe cleaners. So I'm probably going to pay over a couple more of these things. Don't say anything to my old lady. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who's a fan of Dark Strong Kentucky, which is pretty much like everybody who's tried it, unless you don't like the perfume on the Kentucky leaf, but those really light, golden slices Virginias, and combined with that perfume note of the Kentucky is a favorite to a lot of people. And the Latakia in here just does really round out that blend and almost reminds me a bit of the amount of Latakia that was in like the brand that Einstein used to smoke, Revelation. I'm talking the Philip Morris version, just a couple sprinkled in there. And that way it's more of a rounding factor than a bomb. And McBaren's always been known to be more precise in their blending than, say, Cornell and Deal's Pirate Cake, or some of those more lat bomby type of things. This does definitely taste like there's more Latakia than in the Latakia Flake, which we just opened the other day. So, anyway, let me know what you guys thought down below. I'm sure you guys are all getting your tins in this weekend as well. Hope to see some of those videos out there. Take care, everybody.
said and talk becomes slow, but there's one thing I'll never forget. Hey, you gotta pay your dues before you pay the rent. Over the turnstiles and out in the traffic, there's ways to live, and it's the way I'm living. Right or wrong, it's all that I can do, and I wouldn't wanna let you be. I want a range life, if I could settle down, if I could settle down, then I would settle down. I want a range life, if I could settle down, if I could settle down, then I would settle down.
Do you like Bob Dylan?
Yes, I do like Bob Dylan.
Well, he's over 16. I quite like watching his shows. I think it's quite fun, and I enjoy watching him.
Yes, I
performing.
enjoy watching him, but his voice is...
You don't like his voice? It's a funny
Yes.
voice, you know. It's
Yeah.
like a voice that's never been one of the great tenors of our time.
No.
But it's got a timbre, and it's got a projection, and it's got a feeling. So, and you were talking about earlier, you know, you were talking about, you know, as you get older, that, you know, your voice takes on a certain different resonance and a different pitch and so on.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said for that.